Training, awareness, implementation. So you have a plan. You've gone through all the analysis. You know what you're going to do. How do we implement this thing? Implementation. There are 3 broad categories of the sorts of things you do when implementing a plan other than we install the sprinklers. When it comes to the people, there are 3 basic things that you're going to do. They are awareness, training, and walkthrough. Let's describe each of these. And one note, when you are looking at how to implement one of these plans, your continuity process can contain a lot of highly sensitive information. It can contain a lot of information that is frankly dangerous for the wrong person to know about. You need to carefully gauge who you want to know what and why. Awareness can basically be the sending of an email. It can be, hey, we have this thing, you want to know about it. Awareness is making people aware that the thing is going on, or aware that you have this new thing now, this new thing that we're doing. Awareness is very often what you're going to end up having to do for C-suite executives and for the boss. The boss is not going to want to sit through training. The boss is very often going to think they're too important for a lot of this, and you're going to be fighting against them, but the boss will read the email or will glance over the email. Awareness ends up being something that planners don't necessarily like to do because they may feel that people aren't respecting all the work they put in as much as they might like, but it ends up being one of the more effective things when people otherwise just opt out of whatever the thing is. If you do all this work and you get to implementation and then people just say, nah, I don't want to do it, and then they just throw the whole program basically out the window because they have lost interest because the wrong thing has been chosen, it's very unproductive and can feel frankly defeating. When in doubt or when necessary, awareness is a valuable tool. Training. When you're doing training, there are different types. There's one-on-one coaching style training, there's formal classroom style training, there's online module style training, there's many different types of training. There's cultural policy style training where you put something in kind of quietly, where there's like 3 or 4 people that know how to do the thing and you just have them kind of show people kind of organically over time. There's many different strategies for how you might want to train on a thing, but what this is this is getting people more than just aware that the thing is going on, but creating a knowledge base, having them have a more thorough understanding of what the thing is, having them kind of practice the thing a bit. It's not as much practice or simulated as a walkthrough though. A walkthrough could be your test or your exercise. It could be, okay, the thing has now happened. We're simulating the incident happening. Let's walk through and see how this would go. These can be combined as well. A walkthrough and training are very different. Training will not necessarily give people an example to view. So in that way, if you're trying to get people to understand the context of this, a walkthrough is usually more effective than training. Walkthroughs very often, though, will not have the level of detail of training. Training will often have a more thorough understanding of, oh, okay, well, if this happens, we can do this. With a walkthrough, very often people will, okay, I survived, it's fine. They don't have the same amount of detail that they would have had if they did training. So there's pros and there's cons to each. So these are the kind of different things that you can play within when it comes to implementation with getting people on board. There's also a neat little tool called a training matrix. Now, training matrix is basically a big chart. And there's different ways of making a training matrix, but essentially, here's one. So you have your chart, right? And then in the columns here, we can have the different sort of things that you want people to know about. So you could have life safety information. So you could have your like basic life safety stuff, the whole continuity program. You could have some sort of technically specific thing. So you could have like specialized info. You could have any number of things, and this could be hyper specific. You could have like plan F, some document, whatever. So you can make this as specific as you want or as broad as you want. These could all be like different documents, and you could say, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this, whatever. So you have your different categories. And then you have the types of people in your organization. So you could have frontline worker, management, leadership. This could be made hyper-specific to individual people as well, whatever. You have the things they're going to know, and then you have the people involved. And then you could have specialized tech. So maybe some special department, whatever. So you have these different categories, and then you've got your boxes down each, which is what makes this a matrix. Okay. In these boxes, you can then fill in awareness training and walkthrough. So if I want, for example, leadership to be aware of the life and safety stuff, I might say, okay, leadership is going to have an A, they're going to do awareness, and then the awareness is going to be email. So I'm going to describe what they're doing. Management might want to be able to run everything and to be able to do specific tasks to make sure that people survive. So I might say, management is doing training and they're doing awareness. So awareness is email, probably that they're going to have training. And then training is going to be health and safety classes or something, first aid classes, whatever. Frontline life and safety, I might decide that I want them to have training. I might decide I want them to have awareness. I might frankly just say, we're going to simulate something and we're going to have them walk through and we're going to do drills. And then management will be involved in that walkthrough probably in a more supervisory role. So they're in the walkthrough too. Drills. And then leadership, they might want to show up to feel like they're participating because walkthroughs are fun. And then we might do walkthrough drills, and then we'll put optional because good luck telling leadership what to do. You can, might just have selective buy-in there, whatever. You have that specialized tech. You might even say that for them it's not applicable because they might fall into these categories as well. Who knows? We'll say that they have awareness. You have awareness, and then they need to specific stuff. So maybe there's like some role-specific thing they need to do because of some safety standard, because they're whatever. Fine. Continuity program, frontline, they are probably not knowing about it, or they might get awareness of it exists. So they might have not applicable or just it exists, because you're not probably telling them everything about your program. Management, you will probably be selective here. You might have training where the team that did the continuity teaches management what they need to know specific. So specialized training. Leadership isn't going to care, their awareness, and that's email. Leadership doesn't want that. They will want to walk through for this though. They'll want some sort of simulation or exercise. And they'll want to be present for it, but they'll want to be able to leave halfway through because that's leadership. Depends on the company, but I've seen a few, they want to show up, say, okay, that's interesting, then leave. Okay, just 99 times out of 100, but you might be the 1 out of 100, fair enough. Continuity, specialized task, this is going to be involved everything, etc. So anyways, you look through this stuff, you fill it out, you say, okay, given rule, given box, am I going to do awareness with them? Am I going to do training with them? Am I going to do walkthrough? What am I going to do? Okay, that's the whole idea. So this is like a broad, wide view of how to do this, of general stuff. You can do this plan specific. So let's say that I want to do this for a specific plan, be it hazard specific plan, be it an all hazard, vulnerability, BIA spawning sort of plan. You can do that with this too. So you still have your categories of the various people in the organization. What you might have that's different. Let's say that this is power outage. So we have power outage. So you might have strategy 1, strategy 2. Strategy 3 might be backup generator, backup gen, strategy 4, etc. So these are all your solutions. So each of the things that you plan on doing to fix whatever that is. And what you can say is, okay, so for the first strategy, I want frontline to be, aware that it exists and they're going to do this. I want management. I want them to make sure that this thing is implemented. So I need them to be trained on the thing so that they're doing it. Leadership, aware, etc. And you fill it out. Specialized tech. If this, for example, was your building facilities, so this is the specialized role of people that make sure that the building operates. They might have to go through training on backup generator. They might have to have a walkthrough on backup generator. You might have to make sure that in the event the thing happens, that they're the people that go and make sure the backup generator is working. This is the basic idea, right? You've got your plan, you've got your thing that you want to do, you've got the people in the organization, you've got the stuff that are the components, and you go, okay, who needs to know which component and how do they need to learn about this component? Do I need them to know it in detail? Do I need them to know how to walk through the specific thing? Both. Do I need them to just be aware of it? Do I want them to not even know it's there and then, need to know information only? Figure out what you want to do, make a chart, put it in, gives you a nice easy glance of what we're going to be doing. It's easy to reference. That's basically implementation in a nutshell. As for how to specifically implement something, if you have a backup generator, the way that you implement a backup generator, the way you install a backup generator is by asking the company that's installing the generator. I installed the generator, write it in, okay? Like this, I don't need to, if I was to explain how to do every form of specific implementation for everything possible, this video would have infinite duration. Yes. Yeah, no. Next video.